Thanks so much to all my patrons. Join now to help support the channel and help pick the books I review on this channel. Link in the description. So it is the first of the month, and that means it's time to talk about my July to be read list, or commonly referred to as the July TBR. But as always, before we go into the books, let's talk about the June TBR contest. So every month I run this contest where you predict how I will score the books I'll read in the upcoming month. The top 3 spots win, and the winners are highlighted in my TBR video. And if you win twice, you get to pick a book for me to read and review. Lots of people have won twice, so a lot of the books I've read over the past year have been because people have won this contest a couple times. So click the link down below in the description so you can officially submit your picks, and then join the Discord to follow along with updates after each book. A lot of fun to follow along with, and I hope that you join. So the TBR winner for the gold medal was Luke Walker, who got 7 out of 7 correct. This is the second time ever, and second time in a row that this has happened. Last month it was 6 out of 6, this time 7 out of 7. So officially Luke Walker, the best month of guessing of all time. The silver went to Taste Their Fear, who got 6 out of 7 correct and only missed 1 point. And the bronze went to CD, who also got 6 out of 7 correct, also missed 1 point, but had a lower tiebreaker score. Several other people got 6 out of 7 and missed 1 point and got a lower tiebreaker, so I feel bad for them, but yeah, you know, that's life. The book that most people got right was my 5-star rating for The Wisdom of Crowds by Joe Abercrombie. 265 out of 274 got this right, which is 97%. The book most got wrong was my 3.5-star rating for The Night by Will White. Only 19 people got this correct, which is about 7%. The worst score was 2 out of 7, scored by 5 people, and the average score was 3.93. So every month now I'm going to be putting a prompt in the when you submit, and this month prompt was make me laugh. What's the funniest comment? So the funniest comment was from Maximus, and it goes, Chicken's Log 001. It's been 18 hours since I ate undercooked chicken, and so far signs of transformation are minimal, though I know it only a matter of time before I become one of them. Initial symptoms include enlarged gullet, wide unblinking eyes, and involuntary arm flapping, not to mention uncontrollable screaming from 5 a.m. to 6:43 a.m. Stay tuned for future updates for as long as I retained my ability to type. That's good stuff. All right, so the books that I'll be reading. The first up is The Final Empire. This is the first book in Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. I'm doing this in audiobook. I'm actually done reading it. I just finished it today, and I put it on this contest, though, because I had to write up this whole, plan everything out and get the contest going, and I didn't have enough time to finish it up last month in time for that. So I already know what I'm going to score this thing, but I will tell you that my predicted score before I read this was 4.5. I gave it a 4.5 the first time I read it, I think. No, you know what? My predicted score is 5. I gave it a 5 the first time I read it, and I'm going to, of course, predict what I scored it last time. I've been very excited to reread this. I am doing an audiobook this time. The first time I did it in book format. And I can say that the audiobook narration is pretty well done. I'll go in my review in a little bit, but narrating doesn't blow me away, but good stuff. But I don't want to talk about my thoughts on this because I already know my thoughts on this, and I don't want to cheat, so you'll have to figure that one out yourself. Next up is Shogun. This is book 1 of the 𝐒𝐮𝐫 saga by James Clavell. This is a historical fiction book that won the Patreon raffle wheel. I'm doing this in book format. I will finish this up around the 9th of the month. This is about 1,300 pages, so big old chunker, and I'm predicting 5 stars. I'm actually about a third of the way through this already. I predicted 5 stars before I started it. I knew very little about this going into it, other than it follows the perspective of a European man who is one of the first European settlers to Japan. Not settlers, but one of the traders that showed up in Japan. And what I found out since then, but he's not the first, but he was the first Englishman who went there. And it's the story about his adventures while in Japan. I think it's mostly historically accurate. I mean, all these characters in this book model after a real famous person. And I think it's pretty well historically done, at least the basic parts that I've looked up. But yeah, predicting 5 stars, and God, this book is long, but I'll get through it soon. Then after that is The Daughter's War. This is the prequel to The Black Tongue Thief by Christopher Buehlman in the Black Tongue series. This just got released recently. This released on June 25th. I've been holding on to this for a while. I got an arc of the book, an advanced reader's copy, but I just held off. Just things got kind of pushed back. But excited to be reading this. I'm doing, of course, in book format because that's what my arc is. This should be finished up around July 14th. It's pretty small, 416 pages, or small for a fantasy book. And I'm predicting 4 stars. I gave 4 stars to The Black Tongue Thief, and so I have nothing else to really base this off of. And the reason I gave the 4 stars to Black Tongue Thief was I thought the first half was like a 5. I thought the second half was like a 3, and I averaged out. The writing style of Christopher Buehlman was wonderful. I thought the plot kind of lost it halfway through. So if the plot can kind of be consistent in this one, I feel like Christopher Buehlman is just a wonderful writer, and he just needs to stick it a little more with the pacing and the way that the story goes. And so assuming he can do those things, which aren't the hardest things to do, I got to think like being a good writer is the hardest part. He's got that part down. So I'm excited. It feels like 4 is like a floor for this book. But I've said a lot of things that are wrong in my life, so that might be one of them as well. Then after that is The Blood of Lisore. This is, I don't know what book this is in the Wandering Inn, maybe book 7 or so. This is by 𝗂𝗏. I'm doing this in audiobook, so everyone tells me I got to do these things in audiobooks. I have not done it since, but I've been looking for more audiobooks, and I figured, this is perfect. It's huge, it's long. I normally get my books from the library. I don't love paying for my books if I can avoid it, but 𝗂𝗏's team was kind enough to send me the audiobook for this, so thank you so much to the Wandering Inn team. Should finish this up around July 19th. This is huge. This is almost 1,700 pages, and I'm predicting 5 stars. I mean, I've given 5 stars to every book in the series except for one of them that I gave a 4-star. So odds are very good that I'll love this. The book immediately preceding this I thought was absolutely wonderful. Might have been my favorite entry in the series thus far. And what I've heard is that this book follows the same arc, so things are just going to continue right along and move on with the same characters, same story arcs. I am all in. I can't wait. I love The Wandering Inn. It's just so amazing. I feel kind of dumb reading it because it's like nobody else reads this thing that I know. And I feel like a lot of people are like, Matt, what are you doing reading this web serial? Well, because it's awesome and it's epic and it's crazy and you should be reading it too. After that, I'm doing The Silver Blood Promise. This is book 1 in the Last Legacy series by James Logan. This was the Patreon vote pick. So every month on Patreon, I put a list of books that I'm interested in, and the highest one gets read that future month. I'm doing this in book format. Should finish this up around the 20th of July. And it's 522 pages. I predict 4 stars, and this is actually going to be the buddy read. So if you are interested in reading The Last Legacy, Silver Promise, part of The Last Legacy, come join the Discord. We're going to start this up, I think, around the 14th. Don't have the exact date in front of me, but I think it's the 14th. And yeah, I'm super looking forward to it. What I've heard about is that this is kind of like Indiana Jones-esque, which sounds really fun. I mean, I don't know that I've read books that have that as a background. I should. Adventure stories in a fantasy setting sound great. Like some sort of heist story is great. I've also heard some Liza Lachlan Moritized in this, which is great. So super looking forward to this. But, lately I feel like a lot of new authors that are kind of getting their big debut, and maybe it's not a debut, but it's certainly the big one that he put out that is getting him a lot of attention. I end up liking less than I think. So I'm hedging my bets a little bit and going 4, but, I think it's not the worst guess in the world to guess on 5 on this. All right, after that, I am doing Heroes Die. This is book 1 of the Acts of Cain series by Matthew Stover. I'm doing this in audiobook. Should finish this up around July 26th. It is 563 pages, and I'm predicting 4 stars. I know nothing about this book, just to be straight up with you. I really know nothing about it. All I know is that I put a post around a long time ago saying I need more audiobook recommendations. What are wonderful audiobooks? And a lot of people told me that this is a really well-done audiobook. I have so many books that I like reading in physical format. When things get too confusing or too epic and too grand, too many characters, I like to be able to visualize them. I get a little lost in audio. But I heard this is great, so that's why I'm doing it. But again, I know nothing else besides that. Almost done now. The next up is The Curse of the Mistwraith. This is book 1 of The Wars of Light and Shadow by Janie Wirtz. This is another Patreon raffle book. Doing this in book format. Should finish this up near the end of the month, around the 29th. So it might not get there, but I'm going to try my best. It is 848 pages, so pretty big, and predicting 5 stars. I read a Janie Wirtz book last year called To Ride Hell's Chasm, which I thought was so well done.
But the plot in the second half of the book, kind of like The Black Tongue Thief, got kind of bonkers and I thought got kind of sluggish. But just like Christopher Beeman, Janie Wirtz was a wonderful writer. And, you know, again, I don't love standalone, so maybe that was part of it. This is an epic fantasy story that's like 10 plus books long that's finished up, I think, or finishing up. So excited. Hopefully I can find another huge chonking series that I love. And Janie Wirtz is awesome as a person. I've watched Janie Wirtz associates with the booktube community quite a lot. That's not the awesome part. The awesome part is Janie Wirtz as a human seems like a really wonderful person and somebody that, you know, I wish I knew people like that in my real life because it feels like they have so much wisdom to impart. I love I love her attitude. You know, I love how frank she is. And I really, really want to like this book. So going 5 stars. And then finally, I'm going to be doing Aan Partha. I think that's the last book. Yeah, Aan Partha's the last book. This is book 2 of R'y'ra Revelations by Michael J. Sullivan. Doing this in audiobook. Should finish this up around July 30th. It is short. It's 331 pages. I'm predicting 3 stars. I just read R'y'ra. I read the first R'y'ra book. Did not like it. Did not like it. Had a lot of problems with it. I think I gave it 2 stars, maybe 3, but I think it was a 2. I do remember liking, and I did a reread of it, so that was a shocker, because I thought it'd be really good, and it wasn't. And I don't know what I was thinking when I rated it high the first time, which was a really long time ago. But I do recall that this one had a lot of the things I liked about it more. I liked this one more. I missed the buddy duo between Hadrian and Royce that was in the first one, but wasn't the hero of the first one. But that's really where it shines in this one. So hopefully things can kind of get pulled back and then get me back into R'y'ra, because if this one kind of stinks like the first one, I'm out and I'm never reading R'y'ra again. Not to be dramatic, but hey, it is how it is. So those are the books. Now that you've watched this video, click down below, enter the contest. It's free. You know, have fun. It's nice. It's like fantasy football, but like fantasy books. So it's fun. So that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, happy reading to you.
Thanks again to all my patrons, with a special shout out to my Ascendant tier and Librarian tier patrons: Amy, Anna G, CJ, Doust, Darren, JD, Jonathan, Nathan T, Nev's Book Channel, 𝐿, Ron Reich, Russell, Ryan L, Slay, Sydney Baker, Tahir, Zion, Anna, Andra, Blair, Brock, Evan, Harry W, Joe UK, Kat Mick, Michael Sugarman, Sky, and Tyler. Thanks for sticking to the end of this video, and if you want to watch some more content from my channel, click over here and I've got some good videos for you. Thanks so much.